everyone! Today we are making a homemade ice cream cake. We keep it easy by buying the ice cream but make it special by making the fudge sauce, chocolate crunchies, and whipped frosting. I made this for my son's second birthday because he loves ice cream and is not a big fan of cake. I made it Toy Story themed to fit his party. And a huge hit, he still asks for blue ice cream. First, we'll go over how to make the cake, and I'll also show you how I transformed it into a Toy Story cake. So let's go get started. We'll start off by saying that I made 2 of these cakes for 2 different parties, so when I'm making these, it's double batches, so the ingredients that I'm going to be reading out to you will probably not match up, and it'll seem like a lot more. An 8-inch by 3-inch cake pan here, and it is perfect for an ice cream cake, and it is lined with plastic wrap. And then I have a 1.5 quart container of chocolate ice cream that I took out about 20 minutes before I needed it so it would be softened, and I'm just smoothing that into the pan. And then you want to throw that into the freezer for 30 minutes, and while we're waiting, we are going to make our chocolate crunchies. So for one cake, I am adding 9 to 10 Oreos into the bowl of my mini food processor and just making crumbs. And then I am adding that to a bowl with 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter, and we're just going to give that a stir. And we are just going to spread them out on a parchment lined sheet pan and bake at 350 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we want to let them cool. Then moving on to our fudge sauce. In a large bowl, I have 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And then to that I am adding 3 tablespoons of light corn syrup and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I have 1/2 cup of heavy cream that I had in a saucepan on the stove, and I just heated it until it just started to boil. And we just want to pour that into the bowl over the chocolate to melt everything together. And that is our rich and creamy fudge sauce. So while that's slightly cooled, we just want to spread that on top of the chocolate ice cream layer. Sprinkle the chocolate crunchies on top of that, and then we want to pop this into the freezer for about 2 hours, or until everything is nice and firm. And then once that time is almost up, again we want to take a 1.5 quart container of vanilla ice cream out of the freezer about 20 minutes prior so it's softened, and then we are just going to spread that on top of the chocolate crunchies. And then again, we want to freeze that for at least 2 to 3 hours. I ended up leaving it in overnight. And then we want to use the plastic wrap to lift it out of the pan, transferring the cake to my cake stand. And while I'm working on the frosting, I just put the entire thing back into the freezer. Now to make the whipped frosting, I have 2 cups of cold heavy cream in a bowl, and to that I am adding 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and using my hand mixer, I'm just going to whip this until stiff peaks form. Is to stick the whisks into the whipped cream, and if you pull them out and turn it upside down, the peaks should stay sticking straight up instead of flopping over. At this point, you could just take this and cover the entire cake with the frosting as you would a regular cake and decorate it as you'd like. But to make the Toy Story themed cake, I added a little bit of blue food coloring, and I just lightly folded it in so that I wouldn't lose the air in my whipped cream. And then using a flat spatula, I am just working from the top and down the sides of the cake, trying to make it as nice and even as possible. I will say you have to work pretty quickly because the ice cream starts to melt, the whipped cream starts to get runny, but it is worth it in the end. And if you need to take a break, just put it into the freezer for about 15-20 minutes and then keep working. I should also mention, if you are doing the Toy Story themed cake, you want to save about 1/2 cup to 1 cup of the whipped cream and leave it white, do not dye it blue. And that's how we are going to make our clouds. So first of all, to make the border, I am using a round piping tip that I will link down below in my piping bag. And I am just going around the top and bottom border, just putting little dots all the way around. And then using the same piping tip, cleaned out of course, I'm going to make our clouds. So I did 2 dots on the top and 3 dots on the bottom all together to make little cloud shapes all over the cake. And then I will link down below all of the decorations. I got it all on Amazon, all of the little Toy Story figurines, the mini boxes, and the To Infinity and Beyond sign, which I thought was so adorable. I also added a mix of blue and white sprinkles that I found on Amazon as well, just to make it extra special for my little man. And there you have it, my homemade Toy Story themed ice cream cake. I really hope you enjoyed coming along and making it with me. As I said, it was a huge hit. My son loved it. It made him feel so special. You could tell he just still talks about it to this day, and it's been about 3 months. Which for a 2-year-old is huge, and that's all I ever wanted, was to give him a super special birthday. As always, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!